Hello and welcome to India Career Centre audio blog, where we explore the ideas shaping our future. Today's topic is the 50% tariff shock, India's trade crossroads and the global power play, written by S.P. Mishra and read by Ruby, an automated voice reader. On August 27, 2025, a seismic shift rattled the corridors of Indian trade and diplomacy. The United States, under President Donald Trump's administration, imposed an additional 25% tariff on a wide range of Indian exports, raising the total tariff burden to a staggering 50%. For many, this isn't just a trade penalty. It is a geopolitical tremor, a signal that the rules of global engagement are being rewritten in real time. The announcement came swiftly, following an earlier 25% duty implemented on August 1st, targeting India's continued purchase of Russian crude oil. The timing was no coincidence. The tariff escalation is not merely about shrimp or textiles. It is about power, influence, and the recalibration of global alliances. India, which had once imported less than 1% of its crude oil from Russia, had become Moscow's top customer by FY 2024-25. This pivot was driven by price, yes, but also by strategic necessity. With Brent crude hovering around $80 per barrel, Russian Urals are offered at a discount of 3 to 5, making them an irresistible proposition for Indian refiners. The result? India imported nearly 657 million barrels from Russia, paying in rubles, yuan, and dirhams to bypass dollar-based sanctions. This shift, while economically sound, has placed India squarely in the crosshairs of Washington's foreign policy calculus. President Trump, who had once boasted he could end the Russia-Ukraine war in 24 hours, found himself cornered by the complexities of global diplomacy. Unable to broker peace directly, his administration turned to economic levers, tariffs, sanctions, and trade penalties to exert pressure. India, with its growing trade footprint and strategic ambiguity, became a convenient target. The tariff hike is unprecedented. At 50%, India now faced the highest rate among major US trading partners, surpassing even China's 30% and Vietnam's 20%. While pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, and energy products are spared, the blow lands hard on labor-intensive sectors. Textiles, gems and jewelry, leather goods, marine products, chemicals, and auto components, all pillars of India's export economy, are suddenly under siege. The implications are immediate and far-reaching. Small exporters, especially in coastal states dependent on shrimp and seafood exports, are hit hardest. The textile hubs of Tirupur and Surat, the diamond polishers of Gujarat, and the leather artisans of Kanpur find themselves grappling with a new reality. The tariff shock isn't just about numbers. It is about livelihoods, competitiveness, and India's place in the global supply chain. In an interview recently with Rajdeep Sardesai, former RBI Governor Dr. Raghuram Rajan offered a sobering assessment. "It is deeply distressing that this should have happened," he said. "It is a blow to US-India relationships. It is certainly very, very harmful for small Indian exporters, our shrimp producers." But Rajan didn't stop at lamentation. He framed the moment as a wake-up call, a geopolitical signal that India must read with clarity and respond to with reform. "We are beyond discussions of fairness, sovereignty, and so on. We're handling a situation that is a power play." Rajan's prescription is clear: diversify trade dependencies, deepen domestic competitiveness, and avoid over-reliance on any single partner. His words echo a broader sentiment among Indian policymakers that the time for reactive diplomacy had passed. India needs a proactive, resilient trade strategy that could withstand the shocks of a volatile world. Geopolitical strategist George Friedman took a more detached view. In his podcast, he argued that the tariff was less about India and more about signaling to Russia and China. "India is not an essential country from the American standpoint," he said bluntly. "This was an opportunity at the cost to India, which we didn't much mind, to signal things to the Chinese and Russians." According to Friedman, the US was recalibrating its relationship with China, not through confrontation, but through calibrated diplomacy. The tariff on India, in this context, was a message to Beijing: "We are not ganging up on you." Friedman's framing underscored a sobering reality. In the new geopolitical era, economic tools are increasingly weaponized. Tariffs, once seen as instruments of trade policy, are now levers of strategic influence. Nations must learn to navigate this terrain with agility, foresight, and a deep understanding of global power dynamics. Ajay Shah, economist and policy thinker, brought the conversation back to data and strategy. He quantified the impact. The new tariff affects about $65 billion worth of Indian goods exports to the US, just 15% of India's total goods trade. When services are included, the tariff hit segment represents less than 8% of India's overall export portfolio. Shah's message was clear: don't panic, recalibrate. He urged India to pivot toward wealthy democracies and stable trade partners. The recently concluded India-UK trade deal, he noted, was a good start, but it must be deepened through negotiation. Shah also emphasized the need for domestic reform, strengthening regulatory and financial systems to reduce vulnerability and improve competitiveness. Protectionism, he warned, was not the answer. Instead, India must align with rule-based global trade frameworks and build resilient, diversified ecosystems. Together, Rajan, Friedman, and Shah offered a triangulated view of the crisis: economic, geopolitical, and strategic. Their insights converged on a single truth: the 50% tariff is not just a penalty. It is a stress test for India's trade architecture, a challenge to its diplomatic agility, and a call to action for systemic reform. The broader context is equally compelling. India's bilateral trade with the US reached $190 billion in 2024, with pharmaceuticals, telecom instruments, and precious stones leading the export charts. Yet the US runs a $45.7 billion trade deficit with India, a persistent irritant in negotiations. Historically, India has made concessions, reducing tariffs on American bourbon whiskey and motorcycles. But the current escalation suggests that old formulas may no longer suffice. As the dust settles, India faces a choice. It can react with indignation, framing the tariff as an affront to sovereignty and fairness. Or it can respond with transformation, reimagining its trade strategy, reforming its domestic systems, and forging deeper alliances with like-minded nations. This moment also opens up new career pathways for India's youth. Geopolitics, once a niche academic pursuit, is now a dynamic and interdisciplinary field. Strategic analysts, defense advisors, trade policy experts, geopolitical journalists, diplomats, and academic researchers all play a role in shaping the future. These roles demand not just technical expertise, but cultural insight, strategic foresight, and a deep understanding of global complexity. For students and professionals intrigued by these dynamics, the tariff shock is more than a headline. It is a case study in power, diplomacy, and resilience. It is a reminder that in a hyper-connected world, economic decisions are never just about economics. They are about values, alliances, and the stories nations tell about themselves. India's trade future will not be shaped by tariffs alone, but by how it chooses to respond to them. As Dr. Rajan emphasized, this is a moment to reform and diversify. As Friedman reminded us, strategic clarity matters. And as Ajay Shah quantified, the path forward lies in deep trade partnerships, domestic resilience, and smart negotiation. In the end, the 50% tariff is not just a shock, it is a signal. And India, with its rich history, dynamic economy, and global aspirations, must rise to meet it, not with fear, but with foresight. Thanks for tuning in to India Career Centre. If you enjoyed listening to the blog post, please subscribe to the channel. Please share it with others and rate us 5 stars. See you soon in the next episode with some insightful thoughts to inspire you in your personal and professional life.